Jam on toast!
Hey there, welcome to the Jam on Camera. Today the toast is to Burke and Hare. This is a response for hashtag We Are Movie Club. This week's pick was Steve. You can catch him over on Oh Humanity. So the short sale on this one is that two good-for-nothings start selling bodies to doctors who need them for surgery and medical exploration. But when things get tight, they gotta make the bodies. Sounds much more dramatic than it is. My love for this one is when Simon Pegg gets interrupted with Isla Fisher. It's almost a 60-minute setup for one punchline. My hate, oddly enough, was another sex scene. It was the Hares having sex and then having that weird business discussion during it. I don't know if it was just the awkwardness of watching them or that she was mostly getting there by talking about making money off him instead of him being there in the moment, and I'm done with that. The MVP for this to me was Burke, Simon Pegg's character. I really think that he was the good guy, even though he wasn't really doing good things. He let Hare drag him into some stuff, so yeah, he was an idiot. But in the end, he offered himself up and did the right thing in the moment, at least. So yeah, he was kind of the sacrificial hero for the movie. Let's go on the categories. Aesthetics. I'm not sure where they filmed this, but it looked dank and dark and icky, and much like at the times would have been, and everybody was dirty, mud on their face or whatever, unless they were proper gentlemen or whatever you want to call it. So like they really nailed that aspect of it, and everything looks pretty genuine to me. I'd be very surprised to hear anything that said otherwise against this. 6 gets an 88. Character development. We kind of go on like a kiddie roller coaster for the character development because a lot of it's Burke's character struggling with what they're doing. No, we shouldn't be doing this. Okay, I'll help you. And it's a weird back and forth, but it's not a very strong variance throughout the movie. And then he finds Isla Fisher and he goes after her, and he's very much driven and he's doing it for that, and you can argue morality if you like. But ultimately he ends up giving himself up and really kind of makes the day, whereas you kind of just see Hare get more and more rotten. Character development gets an 85. Storyline. This feels like kind of a weak story to me. It sounds like it'd be a much better drama than a comedy, even though like they do that well enough. But it sounds like such a ridiculous thing that it almost would have to be a comedy because people wouldn't have done that, right? Right? More than likely this happened in some regard. Maybe not exactly like this and not as ridiculous, but I'm sure somebody at one point in the world went around with a card like a Monty Python, bring out your dead, and would do weekly pickups or whatever it was. And then where did the bodies go? They've got to go somewhere for processing, or they got buried by the family because once upon a time people buried their own family and you didn't have funeral plots and funeral homes, which is kind of a neat way to spin the story, is to show like the invention of all these things, even if all the medical science is all wonky. Storyline gets a 70. Compulsion. This was a decently funny movie. I kind of had a couple other things going on, but it did hold my attention for most of it. I started getting pretty tired towards the end, but it did hold my attention for quite a while, and it was pretty funny even if I wasn't like rolling on the floor. So it's a fair funny movie. Compulsion gets an 85. Now if you throw all that up, you get an average of 82. For my prep review, I've got to say it's a fair funny movie, but if you're looking for anything past that, you're probably not going to get it. I don't think this is one of Simon Pegg's best things, but it was really good to see the guy who played Tesla's assistant in a big role, so yay. So I can't really recommend this one, but it was a decent movie. Once again, this was a review for hashtag We Are a Movie Club. This week's pick was Stevens. Next week's pick is
Brent over That Scotsman.
And we'll be reviewing
The Fifth Element.
So be sure to go check out both their channels. Check in next week to see what we'll be doing the week after. That's it for me. I'm Camera, and if you don't like me, bite me. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels.